People who use the sauna 4 to 7 times a week have a 40% lower risk of dying from heart disease. That's not a marketing number. That's from a 20-year study on over 2,000 men in Finland. And the same study found their stress markers dropped right along with it. We're SaunaKits.com, the highest rated sauna store on Trustpilot. And the #1 reason people buy a sauna from us isn't weight loss, isn't recovery, it's stress. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly why a sauna drops stress faster than almost anything else you can do, the science behind it, and how to actually use one to feel the difference. So let's start with what stress is actually doing to your body. When you're stressed, a deadline, an argument, a notification you don't want to deal with, your adrenal glands flood your system with cortisol, heart rate up, muscles tight. That's the fight or flight response, and it's designed for short bursts. You outrun the predator, cortisol drains, and you calm down. But most people today never get the all clear. The emails keep coming, the bills don't stop. You stay in this low-grade state of physiological alarm, sometimes for years. Sleep gets worse, anxiety goes up, your cardiovascular system takes a beating. That's the loop most people are stuck in. And the reason so many stress interventions feel weak is that they're trying to fix a physical problem with a mental solution. Heat works differently. When your core temperature rises in a sauna, your body triggers heat shock proteins. These are the repair proteins that fix cellular damage accumulated from chronic stress. More importantly, they help regulate the cortisol receptors in your brain. When those receptors work properly, your body gets better at clearing the cortisol signal when the threat is gone. You become more biologically resilient to stress, not just mentally. Here's what happens in real time. In the first few minutes, your sympathetic nervous system spikes slightly. Your heart rate is up and your body is working to regulate temperature. But around the 10 to 15 minute mark, something shifts. Your parasympathetic system, your rest and digest mode, starts to take over. Endorphins release, and the moment you step out, you feel a drop in tension that's almost instant. That's your nervous system completing a regulated stress cycle, and that is something most modern stresses never let you do. The body knows how to calm itself down. The sauna gives it the environment to do it in. Meditation works, breathwork works, but both require sustained habit formation before you feel a meaningful physiological shift. A single 20-minute sauna session has been shown to reduce cortisol within that same session. If you want a tool that gives you a physical result fast, a sauna is hard to beat. If you're thinking about actually getting a sauna in your home, head to SaunaKits.com. We have every type, from infrared starter setups to full traditional cabins with the specs and the pricing on the site. Check the link in the description. Now let's get back to it. The science is the easy part. The harder part is that most people use a sauna completely wrong for stress, and they wonder why they're not getting the result they paid for. If you're actually trying to reduce stress, there's a specific way to do this that most studies all point to. Most people miss at least half of it. First, temperature. The research uses traditional saunas at 176 to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the threshold where your core temperature rises enough to trigger the heat shock response and the hormonal cascade. A lot of people set their traditional sauna to 130 and wonder why they're not feeling a difference. Infrared works differently from a traditional sauna, so you do not need to run it as hot. The bottom line is that you need to be genuinely hot, not just comfortable. The second is duration and frequency. Ideally, sessions of 15 to 20 minutes, at least 3 to 4 times a week, will help to reduce stress. The cumulative benefits of better cortisol regulation, improved sleep, and lower resting heart rate show up most clearly at 4 or more sessions per week. The 40% cardiovascular mortality reduction in the Finnish study, that was the 4 to 7 times a week group. Going once on a Sunday leaves most of the benefits on the table. The third thing is timing. Evening is better for stress. When you step out of the sauna, your core temperature drops rapidly, and that signals your brain to initiate sleep. An evening session anywhere from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. helps you wind down faster and sleep deeper. Morning saunas are great for alertness, but for stress reduction, evening wins. Fourth, and this is the biggest mistake I see, people bring their phone in. They scroll, they check email, they're doing the exact same thing that's keeping them stressed, just in a much hotter room. If your brain is still processing threats, leave the phone outside. Sit, let your mind drift. Finally, which type of sauna? All three, traditional, infrared, and hybrid, can reduce stress. but differently. Traditional at high heat is the closest to what the research uses. Infrared saunas run cooler, but penetrate deeper, so your core temperature still rises, and many people feel that they can stick with it longer because it's more comfortable. If stress is your goal, a well-built traditional sauna at proper temperature is the gold standard. But infrared sauna used for 4+ times a week beats traditional sauna used once. Most people stop at using a sauna 4 times a week, but there's a way to stack a sauna with a few other things that will amplify the results. Once you've got the sauna part down, there's a handful of pairings that take the stress response from good to almost unfair. First, cold contrast. Sauna followed by cold exposure, a plunge, cold shower, or even cold air trigger a massive norepinephrine spike, up to 300% in some research. Norepinephrine drives focus, mood, and anxiety reduction. Layer that on top of the endorphin release from heat, and you're hitting stress chemistry from multiple directions at once. People describe it as feeling reset. That's not a figure of speech, that's neurochemistry. The second is breathwork in the sauna. Under heat stress, breathing gets shallow and fast, which keeps your sympathetic system activated. If you consciously slow it down, 4 counts in, hold for 4, 6 counts out, you activate the vagus nerve, the main on-ramp for your parasympathetic system. You're using the heat to set up the conditions and the breath to accelerate the shift. It's one of the most effective combinations you can do for acute stress relief. Third is the sleep loop. Chronic stress degrades sleep. Poor sleep raises cortisol. Higher cortisol makes you more reactive the next day. It's a loop that's very hard to break with willpower. An evening sauna disrupts it. The post-sauna temperature drop triggers earlier and deeper sleep onset, more slow wave sleeping, and lower baseline cortisol in the morning. Do that 4 nights a week for a month, and the stress reduction compounds. Now you're equipped with the science, the protocol, and the stacking strategy to use the sauna for stress the way it's actually meant to be used. If you want a sauna in your home, head to saunakits.com. Everything I talked about today, from the traditional, the infrared, and the hybrid saunas, is all available on our site. See you on the next one.